to pay for the spending on roads, bridges, and broadband. Both Democrats and Republicans agreed upon, among other things, a tax on cryptocurrency. Child star turned Bitcoin billionaire Brock Pierce is not amused. In a Countdown exclusive, he's about to tell you what unintended consequences he believes Congress just unleashed on the crypto world. President Joe Biden saying that the signature piece of his campaign, the promise to pass an infrastructure bill, has come about thanks to both Republicans and Democrats working together to create jobs and rebuild and strengthen the country's infrastructure. To pay for it, they put together a couple of ideas. They repurposed the leftover COVID money, COVID funds. They delayed Medicare rebates, and they're selling wireless spectrum, and they passed a cryptocurrency tax provision. Here to react to that piece of it, which has been controversial, is Brock Pierce. He's the billionaire Bitcoin investor who I would imagine, Brock, not too happy right now. Tell me what your thought is and why you think this is a negative, not just for the crypto world, but for the rest of America.
Well, we're living through the fourth industrial revolution, and it's indisputable that technology is changing the world, and that this technology is going to have a big impact on the financial system and the well-being of Americans. And the idea that an amendment was jammed into an infrastructure bill for a conversation that is so important to our collective future and not given its own container to have ample discussion so that we actually thoroughly think through the issues and the long-term implications it has on our lives, I think is very short-sighted, and that's why I'm so disappointed. This is a very important topic, and it deserves its own forum, and it doesn't belong buried in the back of a 2,000-plus page bill with only days of notice. And there were multiple senators that raised issue with this. I'd like to give a shout out to Senator Toomey and Loomis for pushing all the way to try and prevent this from happening.
Loomis of Wyoming and Toomey of Pennsylvania. But Brock, am I hearing you say that just because this is a nascent industry, this cryptocurrency ecosystem that is sprouting up right now, that taxing it to the tune of $28 billion, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much, is something that will destroy the whole thing?
Yeah, no, it's not the issue of taxation. It's the issue of the regulation that they've attempted to put in this. They're attempting to potentially burden all of the infrastructure that supports the industry in a way that those businesses may leave the United States, no longer create jobs in the United States, and the epicenter of those industries potentially ending up in other places like Dubai, Singapore, Europe, rather than the industry being headquartered here. The United States is the capital of innovation, and it's important to me that we stay the capital of innovation. And this industry is on the forefront of changing the world. This is not an issue with the taxation. It has to do with the regulation that's being imposed to support that taxation.
Well, now you're talking Gary Gensler's language. He is the one at the SEC who has said that cryptocurrency is the Wild West. Somewhere in between what you're saying and what he's saying lies the truth. But that said, what regulation could you live with in the cryptocurrency world, Brock?
Well, one comment on the Wild West. The Wild West became California. And so the Wild West is important, and we need to be mindful of the future potential of it. Yeah, regulation at its core is not a bad thing. Regulation is there to protect the people, but it's important that we have sensible regulation that nurtures and fosters the growth of the industry. And it's important that those that are regulating, our lawmakers, actually understand the industry that they're regulating. And most of them have not done their research. They have not had ample time. This decision was made in haste, and that's what gives me cause for concern.
I need your sort of at 30,000 feet picture of where you see Bitcoin right now. At the moment, it finally, over the past couple of days, broke through the 200-day moving average, back above 46,000. I think it's middling around 45,000 at the moment. Yeah, 45,512. You just had Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC, one of the so-called meme stocks, on Charles Payne's show in the last hour, talking about why he says the company, the movie theater chain, will soon consider accepting Bitcoin. Let's listen in, and then I want your response to that.
We figured out a way to put the technology in place. We'll do so by year end. So we will be taking Bitcoin as one of the many forms of payment that you can use if you do it online to buy movie tickets and or concessions at AMC theaters all across the United States.
Brock, it sounds like he's done the legwork and the so-called infrastructure there. What does a move like that mean to the growth of cryptocurrency?
Well, I mean, AMC by itself doesn't move the needle much. I think this is actually better for AMC than it is I call it the Bitcoin industry. Remember, AMC was one of those businesses that was saved effectively by the Reddit rebellion, the retail market of buyers. And so I think it's a wonderful thing. The same sort of people that were buying the AMC stock in that short squeeze are the same sorts of people that have been buying Bitcoin. At a larger scale, I think it's worth talking about what El Salvador has done. So the country of El Salvador has made Bitcoin legal tender. That law takes effect on September 7th. And on September 7th, when that law goes into effect, every merchant in the country of El Salvador is obligated by law to accept Bitcoin for all of its products and services. We're going to see complete penetration into that market. And why that matters is that 70% of the population of El Salvador is unbanked. It's a cash economy. 4 to 4.5 billion people on the planet are on or underbanked. This technology is creating an open banking system to create financial inclusion, ubiquitous financial inclusion for everyone on Earth. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I believe we're going to bring 1 billion plus people out of poverty with this technology. And it's important to me that America, the United States of America, sits at the center of this fourth industrial revolution and stays on top of innovation, and that we, the American people and the American businesses, are the beneficiaries of that change as much as we can be.
Brock Pierce holding the Bitcoin flag for Bitcoin Nation and crypto world. Thank you very much. Please come back again, Brock Pierce.